Right. So in previous class we discussed about the set interface, right? Yeah. So we started discussing about set interface. So set interface contains hash set class and linked hash set class, right? Linked hash set class, and so it is having two sub interfaces. So one is sorted set and a navigable set, and one more class that is a tree set class. So we discussed. So when we will go for set interface, right? And we discussed asset class, linked asset class. So what is the difference between asset and linked asset? Only one difference. So that is linked asset will maintain the insertion order, whereas asset class will not maintain the insertion order. The order will be based on the hash code of the objects, right? So here duplicate objects are not allowed. Insertion order it will not maintain. It will maintain based on the hash code, right? So heterogeneous data is allowed. Null insertion is possible, right? We discussed all these points, right? And we started discussing the interfaces, sorted set interface, and we discussed what are the methods are available in the sorted set interface, like last method, first method, tail set, head set method, tail set method, subset method. So we discussed some methods, and navigable set is there. So in navigable set also we have some methods. So that will be used for navigation purpose. We will see that one. We didn't discuss it. We'll see, right? So after that we started discussing about tree set class. So in tree set class, that this is a subclass. This is implemented from sorted set and navigable set. So sorted set means so you are able to insert only similar kind of data, homogeneous data, not heterogeneous data. Why? Because so the elements must be sorted. The elements must be sorted. So for sorting the data must be homogeneous data. If you are inserting different kind of data, it's not possible to sort the data, right? So that's why. So whenever you are trying to insert some data into the tree set, the data must be homogeneous data. The data must be homogeneous data, right? So we discussed that point, and we started explaining the tree set class. I hope I covered these points in yesterday's class, right? So if you take the tree set, insertion order is not preserved. So whatever the data, in which order you are adding the elements, it will not maintain the same order, but the elements will be arranged based on some sorting order, either ascending order, descending order, or customized sorting order, right? So duplicate data is not allowed. That is a set property, set interface property. Heterogeneous objects are not allowed. Why? Because so actually collections will accept the heterogeneous data, but here tree set will not accept the heterogeneous data. Why? Because data should be sorted. Data should be sorted. So when you will sort it, if the data is similar type, so then only you can sort it. So that's why here heterogeneous data is not allowed, right? So if you are trying to insert different kind of data, you will get class cast exception, right? So we discussed null insertion is possible, but only one time. That will be in empty tree set. We can insert the null, but you can insert the null if the tree set is empty. In a empty tree set only you can insert null. So after that you are not supposed to add any other data. Why? Because tree set should be sorted. If you want to sort the data should be similar type. If null is there and some other data is there, it is not possible to sort it. That's why only null is allowed. After that you are not supposed to add any other data, right? So underlying data structure is balanced tree to improve the system performance, right? And we discussed what are the constructors are there as part of the tree set. So you can construct the tree set object in these four ways. So one is default way, so that is default sorting order. So this is comparator parameter, that is customized sorting order. So if you want to construct a tree set with the existing collection, then you can go for third one. If you want to construct a tree set with the sorted set, you can go for fourth one. So if required, we will discuss all these constructors. Right. So and we discussed with one example in yesterday's class. So we discussed with one example, that is how to use the tree set. So I added some data, similar kind of data. So if you want me to add, I will add one more time, and we will try to recollect the subject what we discussed in last class. Right. So I'm adding some elements. I'm adding A. I'm adding Z. I'm adding some other elements. So you must add only strings only. You are not supposed to add different kind of data. You must add only strings. So why? Because heterogeneous data is not allowed. Homogeneous data should be there. Right? I'm adding some B. PS dot add some. I'm adding some XYZ, some ABC. Or you can take a XYZ also, no problem. It's a string only, right? PS dot add some ABC. So if I'm adding the elements in this way, so whenever you are printing the data, whenever you are compiling and whenever you are executing the data, so see how the elements are added. The elements will be added in a sorting order, like a dictionary order. Okay. So compile and execute the program. So I saved it in desktop examples folder. So compile the code as set example. That file name is as set example, right? So compile it and try to execute it tree set example. While executing, use tree set example. Right. Observe the output. Data is arranged as like a dictionary order. First A is there, then ABC is there, then B, X, Y, Z, Z. But here you are not added in the same way. You added A, then Z, but Z is at the end. So how this is sorted? How this is sorted? We will discuss. Right. So suppose if you are trying to insert any other data, what will happen? If I am trying to insert some other data, so this is string data. This is a integer data. Integer class type. Automatically it will convert into integer class type. If you are passing some number, so by default it is a int. Primitive type is a int. But the primitive type is converted into wrapper class using auto boxing technique. So now it is an integer type object. So here this is a string type object. This is an integer type object. So both are not comparable. So in this case, you will get compile time error saying that type class cast exception. Right, sorry, save data. Right. So try to execute it. You will get class cast exception. So that is a runtime error. So class cast exception. So it is not possible. Only homogeneous data is allowed. Heterogeneous data is not allowed. Right. This is one point. Now we will try to understand. So some other point. So now you added strings. Suppose if you add numbers, what will happen? See, I'm adding some numbers. So now I am adding some numbers. Compile the code, execute the code. Elements are sorted, ascending order, right? So elements are sorted and ascending order. We tried with the strings. We tried with the numbers. If you want, you try with the floating point numbers also, right? So this is integer type. This is a float type. Is this comparable or not? Both are comparable or not? This is integer type. This is a float type. So comparable or not? So compile, execute. You are getting class cast exception. Okay, data should be homogeneous, right? Now, so what I will do, instead of passing strings, instead of passing numbers, so what I will do, I will pass something else, right? See here. So I remove the data. So what I will do, instead of passing string, I will pass string buffer. right? So I'm passing string buffer. Here also I'm passing string buffer, string buffer, string buffer, string buffer. So here I am passing some value ABC. Here I am passing some value XYZ, right? So now observe. So first case you passed string values. Second case you passed numbers. Third case you are passing string buffer object. Observe here in first case and second case you didn't get any compile time or runtime errors. So whenever you passed so string objects and whenever you passed numbers, numbers means that like wrapper classes, wrapper class objects. So string class objects or wrapper class objects, you are not getting any error. Okay. So now you are passing string buffer object as a parameter to the add method. So observe what will happen. So I'm commenting these three lines. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me, no problem. Right. So save the file. So try to compile it. Compile the code. Compile successfully. Try to run it. So I'm running. So I'm getting class cast exception. Class cast exception. So string buffer cannot be casted to comparable. So what is this comparable? What is this comparable? Right. We need to understand. That's why we written this code. So if you take string class and string buffer class, these classes are implements from comparable interface. Comparable interface. So these two, which one? Wrapper classes and string classes are implemented from comparable interface. That means whenever you are adding the data, you can compare the data and you can arrange it in a some sorting order. But the string buffer class is not implemented from comparable interface, right? So if you have doubt, just open the API documentation and observe it, right? So open the API documentation, right? So go to that class. So first we go to string class. So string class is available in java.lang package. So go to java.lang package, go to string class. Observe here, it is implemented from comparable interface. Implemented interfaces are comparable interfaces there. And you can take any wrapper class. Any wrapper class means integer class, float class, long class, double class, any wrapper class. So I am taking some integer class. So integer class also implemented from comparable interface, right? So now I am going to take string buffer class. String buffer class, observe here, this class is not implemented from comparable interface. So you don't have any comparable interface here. Implemented interfaces, you don't have comparable interface. In the same way, string builder class also not implemented from comparable interface, right? So if you want to compare the elements, the class must be comparable type. So when you can say comparable type, if a class is implemented from comparable interface, then you can say that is comparable type. So here the string class and all the wrapper classes are comparable types. But string buffer is not comparable type. You are not supposed to compare the elements while adding, right? So in this case, suppose if you want to sort the elements using the string buffer object, so it is not possible using comparable interface. So for that purpose, we are having one more interface, that is a comparator. Okay, So comparator is there, we will use it. But before using it, first we will try to understand what is this comparable interface, what are the methods are available, how it will works. So I hope you are getting the point. So we tried with we are trying to add string type data, and we are able to sort the data, and we are trying to add some numbers. We are able to sort the data. We are able to sort the data. Why? Because at the back end, so we are having some support. So what is the support? So these classes are implementing from comparable interface. In the comparable interface, there is a method called compare to method. Using that compare to method, you can compare the data and you can sort the data. That is possible. But string buffer class is not implemented from comparable interface. That's why you are not supposed to call compare to method. So here you are not supposed to compare to, and you are not able to sort the data, right? So if you want to sort the data for remaining class types except the string and the wrapper classes, if you want to sort the data, you must go for customized sorting order. So we can implement the customized sorting order by using comparator interface. So we'll discuss that one now, right? So before discussing that comparator interface, we'll see what is this comparable interface, right? Comparable interface, right? This is the interface. So this is available in java.lang package, right? So this is defined in java.lang package, and it contains only one method. It contains only one method. So the method name is compare to method. So for this compare to method, you need to pass one parameter, that is object type parameter, right? So what is a method prototype? So method prototype is method is public method, and this method will return integer number. The method name is compare to method. It will take one parameter. So this is method prototype. So how this method will work, we will try to learn now, right? So suppose you are trying to insert 10 and 20 value. Consider only two values you are trying to insert. So first 10 value will be converted into integer number, and 20 value also will be converted into integer number. So that means integer class type, integer object and integer object. So not primitive types. At the back end, it will be using auto boxing technique. So it will using the auto boxing, using the primitive number will be converted into wrapper type. So this is object, and this is also a object, integer object, integer object. Now, so whenever you are trying to insert the data, okay, take my 10 and minus 20, right? So whenever you are trying to insert these two elements into the tree set, so it must be arranged in sorting order. It must be arranged in sorting order. So how the sorting order is happening at the back end? So if you take this example, I'm just removing this thing for explanation purpose. So I remove these two. Suppose you are trying to insert 10 here, and you are trying to insert minus 20 here. So at the back end, what will happen? So whenever you are calling this add method, so internally, so it will try to call compare to method. So JVM will call the compare to method, and it will apply the compare to method on top of those objects, right? So if first it will verify if it is an empty tree set, the element will be directly added to the tree set. Empty tree set means it does not having any elements, so the element will be added directly. So first element will be added directly. After that, you are trying to insert second element. Whenever you are trying to insert second element, it will call this compare to method. So it will call this compare to method, and it will verify so what the existing data, existing data, that is object 1. On top of object 1, it will try to compare, it will call the compare to method by passing object 2. So in this case object 1 is 10 and it will try to compare to with minus 20, like. So in this way the method will be called. So I hope you are getting the point. So first tree set will be there. Tree set some ts equal to new tree set. So this is an empty tree set, it does not having any elements. So whenever you are using dot add of 10, so what will happen, first it is an empty tree set, so no need to compare anything, directly 10 will be added to the tree set. So whenever you are trying to add the next element, now this is not an empty tree set, it is having some elements. It is already having 10 element is there, 10 element is there. So 10 element is already there. You are trying to insert minus 20 now. So in this case, what will happen, whenever you are trying to add the second element, it will call the compare to method. It will call the compare to method on top of first object. So on top of 10, it is trying to call compare to method by passing minus 20. So what the compare to method will do, internally compare to method will compare these two elements. It will compare first element and second element. Second element is minus 20. So what is the logic at the back end, it will work. So the method return type is integer type, it will return one integer number. So what is the integer number, first it will verify both elements 10 and 20. So if it is less than, that means first object 1 is less than object 2, then it will return negative number, right? Suppose the object 1 must come before the object 2, in that case it will return one negative number. Suppose this condition is false, if the object 1 is greater than object 2, then it will return positive number. It will return a positive number. Suppose both objects are same, equal, then both objects are equal, then it will return 0, right? So compare to method is there. So who will call the compare to method, whenever you are trying to add the elements at the back end, JVM will call the compare to method of comparable interface, right? So what the method will do, so the method will perform these three operations. So it will verify either it is less than or greater than or equal. If it is less than, it will return negative number. If it is greater than, positive number. Both are equal, 0, right? So less than means first object must come before the second object, in that case it will return negative number. If the first object must come after the second object, then it will return positive number. So in this case first object must come after the second object, that means minus 20 has to come first, 10 has to come later. So in this case it will return positive number. So in this way the compare to method will work. Okay, I hope you are getting the point. So it will return all, right? So it will return positive number, negative number, or 0. So based on the comparisons, right? So compare to method will work in this way. Suppose if you are trying to add alphabets, what will happen? If you are trying to add, consider you have a tree set. Consider you have a tree set, empty tree set, you are trying to add the elements of strings. Ts dot add, you are trying to add the elements. Suppose you are trying to add a element, and then you are trying to add some z element. So in this case, what will happen? So in this case, first it is an empty tree set, so a will be added directly. Whenever you are trying to add second element, so already empty, it is not an empty tree set, it contains elements, it will pick the element and it will try to compare with this one, right? So how it will compare? So it will use the comparable interface method, compare to method. How the compare to method will work? It will pick the first element, that is a, then it will apply compare to method by passing this element, second one, right? In this way it will call. So what it will return? It will return an integer number. So what is the implementation? So what kind of implementation is there at part of compare to method? So same implementation. So these three lines will be there. So what it will do? First it will compare first element and second element. First element means object one, that is a. A will be compared with z. If a has to come before the z, then it will return negative number. If a is not there, suppose some other if z is there here, if z is there and a is here, then z has to come later of a. In that case it will return positive number. If both are same, it will return negative number, sorry, it will return 0. That means the element will not be added, so it will be replaced with that one. It won't be duplicate, it won't accept duplicate data, right? I hope you are getting the point. So whenever you are adding the elements, so elements are arranging in sorting order. So how the sorting order is happening at the back end? So at the back end there is a interface called comparable interface. In the comparable interface there is a method called compare to method. So in this compare to method there is a implementation for comparing the elements. So whenever you are comparing the elements, if the first object has to come before the second object, then it will return negative number. If the first object must come the next object, then it will return positive number. If both are same, then it will return 0. That means duplicate data it won't accept, it won't add the data. So in this way it will work at the back end whenever you are using natural sorting order. So natural sorting order means in case of string and wrapper classes it will work. So if you are taking any other classes, so this comparable interface is not implementing from those interfaces. That means if the class is not comparable type, you are not supposed to use natural sorting order. You must use customized sorting order only. Now we will try to learn what is that customized sorting order. Right. Right. So you can implement the customized sorting order by using one interface. The interface name is comparator. So this is the interface. So this interface is available in java.util package. Right. So this is available in java.util package and it contains two methods. It contains two methods. One method is compare method, not compare to. One method is compare method. It is having two parameters, object 1 and object 2. Right. So this return type also integer type and this is also a public method. This is the prototype. Right. So this is a interface name is comparator. Comparator is available in java.util package. Comparator interface contains two methods. So one is compare method, second one is equals method. equals method by passing some object, right? I hope you are getting the point. So comparator interface, when we will use the comparator interface, if we want customized sorting order, right? So if you want customized sorting order, then we will go for comparator interface. When we so right, customized sorting order, when we require customized sorting order, if a class is not implementing from comparable interface, right? So we'll see with some examples how to implement it. So actually, whenever you are implementing the comparator interface, so you need to override the compare method. It is not required to override the equals method. So why? Because equals method is already overridden as part of object class. So if you override compare method, that is enough, right? So suppose if you write a class like this, class my comparator implementing comparator interface. So in this case, what we have to do, this is the interface. Comparator is the interface. Comparator interface contains two methods. You must provide the implementation for these two methods. So actual process is you must provide the implementation for these two methods. But what I am saying, so it is not required to override equals method. So equals method overriding is optional. You can override, you cannot override, that is up to you. If you don't override, what will happen? Your class is already extending from object class. Inside the object class, equals method is there. We will use that equals method. If you want to override it, you can override it. That is up to you, right? So if you required customized sorting order, you need to write a class like this, and you must provide implementation for compare method. So we will see this one with one example, right? Right. So I'm writing a class here. So already we are having the above class. So I will take the above class only. Right. So what I will do, I will write, copy pasted the code. So import, forget about all those things. So java.util package. So I written tree set example. So main method is there. So after this, so now I want customized sorting order, not natural sorting order, customized sorting order. So if I want customized sorting order, I am not supposed to create object in this way. So I need to create the object some other way. The some other way is, so this way, second way. So I need to pass comparator object here. So for passing the comparator object, first I need to create a comparator class by implementing comparator interface. So that's why I created this comparator class. So the class name is my comparator, that is implementing from comparator interface, right? So here I need to pass this class object. Whenever I am creating the object, so I need to pass this class object. So what I do, I will create object new my comparator. I'm passing like this. I hope you are getting the point. So you can create the tree set object in four ways. So without passing parameters, that is called natural sorting order. If you are passing with parameter, that is called based on the parameter. If you are passing comparator object, that is customized sorting order. If you are passing some collection with the existing collections, you are trying to create one tree map. So tree set. So like that. So in this case, I want to use customized sorting order. That's why I created one class. The class name is my comparator. So I need to pass that class object here. Okay, I passed it. So then I can add the elements here. I'm trying to add the elements. So that is ts dot add. So I'm passing some numbers. Right. So if I pass like this, what will happen? If I pass like this, what will happen? Observe here. So in this method, I will add some SOP statements. Either this method is calling or not, I will verify. I added this statement. So actually it has to return some integer number. So I'm writing return. I'm passing 20. Sorry, 0. So 0 means every time I'm passing 0 means what is the value? So same equal values. Okay, we will discuss. At this moment I am passing some 0. What will happen? See, either this line is printing or not. You just observe here. So I'm commenting about all these things. Right. So this is our code. I written one class, my comparator, by extending comparator class, comparator interface. I overridden compare method. In this compare method, I am returning some 0. I will return negative number, positive number, and 0. So once we execute this code, right. So as of now, we are returning 0. We are trying to understand either this line will be printed on the console or not. So when it will print, if it call compare method, it will print. When it will call compare method, so once you create the object and whenever you are trying to add the element, it will call the compare method. Right? Internally, it will happen. So internally means in the tree set class, there is a add method. As part of the add method implementation, so the code is written like that to call compare method. If you are passing a parameter here, it will call compare method. Right? If you are not passing any parameter, then it will call comparable interface compare to method. Right. So I'm saving the file. So try to compile it, compile the code. So something went wrong. IMPORT error interface. I think I didn't close the classes properly. Right. So you are not supposed to take the import statement here. You can take the import statement here. Right. So compile the code. So no errors. So clear the screen. So execute the program. Reset example. See here. How many times it is called? One, two, three, four. Why it is called four times? Because you added four elements. One, two, three, four. Four elements. For adding of every element, so it is calling this compare to method, compare method, right? So it is calling compare method and it is executing this line of code, right? But after executing, how many elements are there? Only one element is there. Why only one element? Why? Because every time you are returning as a zero. If you return everything every time as a zero, that means so every time you are considering 10 is 10, 10, 10, 10. So that's why duplicate objects are not allowed. That's why it is maintaining only 10. So what I will do, I will try to update this code and I will add all the elements. Right. So see here how I will add the code. First I need to compare this element and this element. So these are in object format, obj1 and obj2. First convert this obj1 and obj2 to integer numbers because you are adding integer numbers. Right. First collect the obj1, o1. So convert this into integer type. Sorry, o1. Convert that into integer type. Right. So save into some variable, that is integer variable, that is I1. Same way take the second object O2, convert into integer 2. O2. So if you want, you can print that O1 and O2 values and observe what is the O1 and O2. Right, I am trying to add the code here, that is O1 data, sorry, O1 plus O2, right? So in between I am adding the separator like this, right? Now O1 and O2 is there, that means both numbers. If both numbers, I need to compare it. If the numbers are greater than, less than, then I need to return positive, negative and 0 based on that. So what I will do, I will compare the logic. If O1 is less than,
Teacher, sir, spelling mistake.
sorry,
Teacher, spelling.
ఎక్కడమ్మా ఇంటీజర్ INTEGER, right. So I need to compare if O1 is greater than, or if you take first object is greater than the second object, first object is greater than second object, that means the first object has to come after the second object, then you can return positive number. You can take any number, positive number. I am passing 10. Suppose the first element is less than the second element, so in this case I will return negative number. You can take any number. I am passing minus 10. Otherwise, so both are same, in that case I am returning 0. So actually inside the compare method must return one integer number. So the integer number must be either positive number or negative number or 0. When it will be positive number, if the first element must come the second element after the second element, then in case first it will return positive. If the first element must come before the second element, then negative. Otherwise 0. Otherwise means both are equal. Right? If you write the logic this way, so you can observe how the elements will be added. So in earlier case, it is added only one element. Why? Because we return 0 only. 0 means all the cases it is comparing, all are equal. Right. So now I am compiling the code. So I saved it. Compile the code. O1, O2. Bad operator. Is greater than. Is this I1, I2? Sorry. This is I1 and I2, not O1 and O2. Okay, I will change here. Okay, not possible. Okay. I1 and I2. I1 and I2. This is also I1 and I2. Save the file. Compile the code. Right. Try to execute it. See, elements are added. How many times the method is called? First time. Comparator method. Yeah. So it is these many number of comparisons are happening, but elements, 4 elements are added. So elements are 0, 10, 20, 100. So this is in ascending order. This is in ascending order, right? So how many comparisons? One, two. Where is that method? I think this is not required. So just I will compile and execute one more time. Executing. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times comparison is happening. Why 5 times comparison is happening? That will be based on sorting techniques. So sorting techniques means we are having bubble sort, insertion sort, selection sort, right? So in those sorting techniques, so which sorting technique they are using? So based on that it will work. Those many number of comparisons will be there, right? So observe here first time. So it is comparing whenever you are trying to insert first element. Whenever you are trying to insert first element, you don't have zeroth element. That means this is the first element. So whenever you are trying to insert the first element, you don't have two elements. You don't have two elements here. So what it is considering, first element and second element both are first element only. So that's why you are getting 10 and 10, right? So second time you are inserting 0, so 0 is comparing with 10. Third time you are inserting 100, 100 is comparing with 10, 20 is comparing with 10, like this. It is arranging, it is arranging the elements and it is comparing. So at the end you are getting the elements in ascending order. Suppose if you change this order, see here, if I am passing negative here, if I am passing positive here, so elements will be in descending order, right? So compile, execute, you are getting the elements in descending order, right? Suppose if you don't have these statements, this written, only one written is there, so in that case it will consider no duplicate, all are duplicate data only, right? If you pass 0, so in this case, so it will accept only one element, that is the first element, so remaining all elements are considered as zero, so equal data only, right? So if you pass 0, it will be having only one element. Suppose if you pass positive number, if you pass positive number, so in which order you are adding the data, the same order it will maintain, right? So in which order you are made, sorry. So in which order you are adding the data, 10, 0, 100, 20. Now see, so compile the code, execute the code. In which order you are added, it is maintaining the same order. If you are passing, if you are passing only positive number all the time, if you are passing positive number in all the case, you are getting insertion order. If you are passing 0, it will be having only one element like this. Suppose if you are passing negative number, if you are passing negative number, so in this case, I think it is a reverse of insertion order. Okay, we'll see. So save the file, compile it, and execute it. Right here. So this is a 10 20, sorry, 10 0 100 20. Here 20 is here, 100 is here, 0 is here, 10 is here. That means the reverse order. Insertion orders are reverse order. So all these points are important in case of interview, right? Suppose if you pass 0, what is happening? Suppose if you pass positive number, what is happening? If you pass negative number, what is happening? So only constant value if you are passing, what will happen? So if you pass like this, what will happen? So if you are having if else statements, so data will be arranged in a proper way. If you want ascending order, in this way, if you want descending order, you can reverse it, right? I hope you are getting the point. So this is called customized sorting order, right? So in this way you can write your logic and you can arrange the data, right? So here we compared numbers. So in the next scenario we will try with strings. So how to arrange the strings in a sorting order? So I think people better to take this one, comparable. So comparator, right? From where we started, construct a subtree. Right. So from here you can take, right? So we tried with a numbers here. So now we will try with the strings. By passing strings, what will happen? We'll see. Suppose I am passing some ABC. Here I am passing some A. Here I am passing some triple A. So here I am passing something else, some 0, A, or you can say 0 A. So in this case, what will happen? Earlier case, numbers are there. So numbers are there, you are comparing with greater than, less than. Greater than and less than, you are arranging them in a sorting order. But now my case, in this case, I have strings, or better you can take string buffer type. We will try with the string type, then we will try with the string buffer type. So now strings are there. If you want to arrange the strings in a sorting order like a dictionary order, how you will implement it, right? So how you will implement this one? So very simple. First here you have strings. You need to, you will, whenever you are passing new comparator, so it will call the compare method. So it will come here. The data will be coming here. So it is like a object format. Object format to string format. You need to convert it. So convert into string type like a string one and string two. Okay. So you can print string one and string two here, right? I1, I2, right? So don't, you are not supposed to compare like this greater than less than. So what I will do, so I will try to use compare to method of comparable interface. So to arrange the data in a sorting order, so I'm using like this, that is I1 dot compare to. So compare to method is available in comparable interface, not comparator interface. So I'm trying to compare I1 and I2 in this way. So what it will return? It will return a positive number or negative number or zero. So I'm using existing interface method. So that is compare to method. Now observe here the elements will be sorted. Elements means here all the strings will be sorted. Strings, all these are strings. Strings will be sorted according to natural sorting order. But we are taking the help of customized sorting order. With the customized sorting order, we are calling natural sorting order. Right. So compile, execute. You are getting the data in a sorting order. Observe here, number is there. That's why 0A, then A, then triple A, then ABC. This is like a dictionary order. So if you want to reverse order, just give the negative number here, negative. So whatever the number you will get, so that will be converted into negative number. So you will get in descending order. Compile, execute. You are getting in descending order. So this order is ascending, this is descending. Dictionary order, reverse of dictionary order. Now what we will do? So we will try with the string buffer type. So better you can take this one also. For practicing purpose, it will be useful. If you are practicing really. Right? So we'll try with string buffer now. We will try with string buffer object. Instead of passing string here, what I will do, I will pass string buffer. String buffer. Actually, string buffer class does not implemented from comparable interface. So we need to understand that point. So that's why we are using comparator class. So comparator interface and compare to method. Now observe. So when we tried before two examples, so we are getting compile time error, so runtime error, class cast exception. So now we are using customizer sorting order by using my comparator class. So you don't get any error now. So I'm trying to compile it and execute it. So in previous example, when you tried with a string buffer, whenever you are trying to execute it, you are getting runtime error, that is class cast exception, and saying that string buffer is not comparable type. So if the string buffer is not comparable type, even if you want to sort the string buffer elements, then you can use customized sorting order, that is by using comparator interface. So I am using that one and I am trying to sort the elements now. Observe here, compile, execute, right? So cannot be converted into this type comparator. Compare to method to string method. So sorry, here the problem is you didn't convert it into string buffer type. So you convert it into string type. That is the problem, right? So what I will do, I will try to convert into string type. So on top of it, you just apply toString method. right? So now compile the code, execute the code. So you are getting the data in sorting order, even if these are string buffer types, right? So what you are doing, you are calling the compare method. Inside the compare method, I am taking the objects and converting into string types by using toString method, not string buffer type. If I am using string buffer type, then you cannot call compare to method. That's why I converted the string buffers to string type. On top of strings, I am calling string compare to method, right? So this is for string buffer example, right? So in this way you can use it. Suppose if you are having a requirement, if you are having strings and string buffers both combination, strings and string buffer both combinations, then how you will sort the data? So both are having. So consider you have an example like, so you need to insert strings and you need to insert string buffers in a tree set, and if both the lengths are equal, suppose AA in case of string and AA in case of string buffer, if lengths are equal in that case, so how to sort the data? If both lengths are equal, then in this case how to sort the data? You need to sort the data in a alphabetical order. Suppose this is AB and this is AA, both are AS, then based on the length we need to sort it, right? Suppose inserting a string and string buffer objects into a tree state when in a sorting order like a increasing length. So based on the length, if you want to insert the data, if you are having two strings are having same length, then you can arrange the data in a sorting order, right? I hope you are getting the point. So we need to insert strings and string buffers into a tree set. The sorting order must be based on the length of the strings, not dictionary order, length of the strings. If length is equal, then you can arrange the data in dictionary order. So that is the requirement. Suppose if you have a requirement like this, then how to write a program, right? Just we will try to write a program to insert strings and string buffers objects into a tree set, where the sorted order will be based on increasing length. So based on the length, suppose this string is there and this string is there. So this is 4 characters, this is 5 characters. So 4 character has to come first, 5 character has to come later. Suppose one more string is there. So here also 5 characters, here also 5 characters. But which string has to come first? So that will be, in this case, it will work based on the dictionary order. So if you are having a requirement like this, then how you will implement the program, right? I hope you are getting the point. So you are having a question, you need to write a program using the strings and string buffers, you need to construct a tree set. So the tree set must be sorted based on the length. First condition is based on the length. If less length is there, it has to come first. If more length is there, it has to come later. Right? If length is equal, then it has to work based on the dictionary order. So that is the requirement. So in this case, you are not supposed to go for comparable interface. Why? Because comparable interface will work only based on dictionary order. In this case, you don't want dictionary order. You want dictionary order, but in second case, first case it has to work based on the length, right? So if you are having a requirement like this, then how you will implement it, right? So same program. So I have this question. So same program. Now in my program, I must insert some strings and string buffers. I'm adding a string. I'm adding a string capital A. I'm adding some other strings like ABC. Then I'm some other adding strings some AA. Okay, take it as small A, no problem. Right? So you can add some other strings also. Two strings is enough. Like this, I added some strings and string buffers. So I'm trying to print the data what it will be. But what is my requirement? The data must be sorted based on the length first. Here the lengths are this AA length, TS and AP. All are having two characters. And this one is single character, this one is three characters. So in this case, first A has to come. After the A, you have AA, TS, AP. In these three, which one has to come first? AP has to come first, then AA has to come, then TS has to come. After that, ABC has to come. Right? That is your requirement. Now, how to implement this logic as part of the compare method? So here, how to implement this logic? First, you need to convert everything as to toString method. So that is string type. So you convert it. Then you need to calculate the length. First, calculate the length because you have to work based on the length. So first, calculate the length of first string, that is L1 equal to I1 dot. Okay, you can take string 1 S1 and S2, right? So that is S1 dot length, then integer L1, sorry, L2 equal to S2 dot length, right? So you identify the first string length and second string length. Now calculate the lengths. So based on the length, it has to work. If length 1 is greater than length 2, then return a positive number. You can return some value. Otherwise, check the condition. If L1 is less than L2, then return negative number. You can pass any negative number. Else, it has to work based on the dictionary order. Already dictionary order logic is there. So you can work on S1 dot compared to S2. Right. So now first you are calculating the length of the strings. You are sorting based on the length. If both lengths are equal, then you are applying dictionary order. Right. So now compile the code, execute the code. Sorry, you are getting one error. I didn't commented the code. Right. Question I didn't commented. Save the program. Compile it. Cannot find the symbol I1. So this is S1 and S2. Sorry, this is L1 and L2. Right. Compile the code. Execute the code. See, first you are getting a character. That means a string. First you are getting a string, that is the length is one character. Then you are getting double A, two characters. Here also two characters. Here also two characters. But compare with AA and AP. So which one is less? AA is less than AP. then TS, then ABC. So you are getting these three in dictionary order, and remaining are you are getting in length based on that. Actually, ABC is here. If you compare AP and ABC, so if you take dictionary order after A, it has to come. Sorry, after A, then AA, then ABC has to come. After that, AP. But we are working based on the length. That's why first length is applied here. So I hope you are getting the point. So this program is to sort the elements based on the length and based on the dictionary. If lengths are equal, it will work based on the dictionary order. Right? Better you can take this example also. Try to practice it. Right? So we'll try with one more example. If required, we will try. Otherwise, not. Okay, no problem. We'll end the session. We will discuss one more example. Like employee details are there, like employee name, employee salary, and employee number. Suppose if you want to sort the data based on employee number and employee salary, not one condition, both conditions. So how to sort the data based on both condition, like employee roll number and employee salary. So we'll try that example. Maybe we'll take the one more session in today's evening class. We'll try to see that example. Right? I'm ending the session. So if you have any doubt, you can post me. Right? So thank you everyone.